Boy, I tell you, the more you be around certain people, the more you realize that people just comfortable with they just comfortable with believing lies. I don't know no other way to put it. They just love lies. They love lies as their refuge. It's just like a person that get so used to going into a prison house all their life. You lock them, they get locked up and you lock them up for 90, let's say if it's 90 years, they get out or you turn them loose and you let them go free, their mind is destroyed. They don't even know what it feels like to be free. When you tell people to do a simpler word, research, you're gonna get all kinds of debates, arguments, everything. They're gonna try to do everything they can to make you look stupid. They're gonna try to even say you're trying to start an argument. They're gonna say, I don't like to argue, and all of that. And in your mind, you being like, good gracious alive, who said anything about arguing? Ain't nobody said nothing about arguing. What I am doing is trying to show you, don't take you simply, you know what research means? It simply means don't take my word for it. Research means proof. That's all it means. That's another, that's a person's way of saying, I can prove it to you. Not I can prove it to you, but go see for yourself. The proof is there. No, but you got a lot of our people won't do that. They just wanna, they busy, they wanna put energy into just sitting up telling you how stupid you is. Oh, they'll put time into that. But if you take one moment of your time and tell them to go do your research, they don't even want to do that. Oh, I don't believe that. But let me at the same time get on my camera and say I'm a real prophet of the Most High. Guarantee you I'm not gonna get no argument out of none of them. Oh, I don't believe that. Did the Bible say they have false prophets too? You can't tell people nothing. They it's just like another now. A dog. You can take a dog and tie him up from a puppy to be on a chain. Never let him out. Never let him go out. When you try to walk him on a leash, they're afraid of people. I've seen it happen. I actually had years and years ago, like when I was like in my early teens, I used to mess with dogs and stuff like that, but I don't mess with them like that no more, you know. But when I took and I had a dog from a little puppy, when that dog got about, I don't know, I don't even I didn't even know how to calculate at that time. So I'm just gonna say maybe about 13, 14, 15 weeks when I walked him out on the streets and that was and he seen uh he didn't see nobody. I mean he seen other people. I had him walking on the leash and he looked up at the person and he turned around and went to running. You see what I'm saying? He went to running because he wasn't used to seeing people. So I said, "Ooh, I might have done a bad service to that dog." You know what I mean? Well, that's when I used to it back in the day. I don't mess with this, like I said. But um, I said I did a bad service. I want the dog to be not afraid. I want him to. You know how you want your dog to be vicious. I liked it that. I want him to be vicious, trying to show himself tough. Not when you look up at people and then you turn around and and run. I literally had that happen. So the point I'm making is a lot of people, this is the mindset of our people. You can't tell them nothing. And even and then they want to turn around and use their age. Your age ain't got nothing to do. Look, man, this is what I tell people, and this is what I try to tell people all the time. Just because you've been on this earth 80 years doesn't mean you can teach me anything. 59, 60 years, 65, 75 years. Matter of fact, in the Bible it says days supposed to teach wisdom, and multitude of years should supposed to teach wisdom. Multitude of years is supposed to do that. That means you're supposed to take and spend time daily while you're young and do your research. If we would have did the proper research, well, a lot of us didn't know. So I'll give you that. You know, I can understand a lot of people didn't know. I didn't know neither. But did I use that as an excuse? No. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, back then, they kept books away from us. And I think that's one of the things that's damaged us too. You know, like during slavery time, they took you, our ancestors couldn't read or write and all that kind of stuff. And we got so used to being in that type of docile state of mind until we actually, if you look at our people today in 2018 going into 2019, you offer us a book to read, we're gonna look, a lot of us will look at the other man or woman of color stupid. What is this? Oh, I ain't got time to be doing no reading. I work too much, so I ain't gonna even have time to even pick the book up. Destroy. Our people are destroyed, man. You can't even tell them that. It's like trying to convince a snake that he's a snake. You can't do it. And people literally think you're wrong for telling them, look, I understand look, man, just do your research. And we just been in this way so long, and it goes all the way back to slavery. It does. It goes all the way back to slavery. Slavery has really destroyed our people. The so-called white man knows that too. That's why they always tell you. Remember how they, like I said earlier, you remember y'all when they our ancestors, they didn't have the Bible, they didn't have books, they kept that from our ancestors. That's why our ancestors couldn't read or write. We didn't even have ink pen, we had it, but they took it away. They stripped us of our language. We were speaking their language. So we so used to speaking European language, the so-called white man's language. This is all we know because we were stripped of our original language. Our original language is Hebrew. But a lot of people, you can't tell them that. They're gonna turn around and tell you, oh, I don't believe that. You know why they say they don't believe it? It's because slavery has destroyed our people and put them in a docile state of mind. It goes all the way back to slavery. A lot of people say you can't put that on slavery. Yes, you can. Now, I do understand we do have the opportunity, of course, but you have to understand we've been over here in this so-called land over here. We're not free. You have to have a passport to leave here and all of that. That ain't free. What do you call that if you can't leave without a passport? I believe they'll try to put you in and lock you up or something like that if you try to leave without a passport. I believe they will. So do you call that free? We're not free. Talking about the land of the free. This is Babylon. This ain't gonna never be revived. This country ain't gonna, this place is through. This is gonna be destroyed with nuclear weapons and bombs by the Most High God. A lot of people think it's a joke, man. It's not a joke, man. But you cannot simply tell our people to do one little simple word because their mind is docile, their mind is destroyed, because they were so used to not having a book during slavery. They didn't have none of this in Egypt. The children of Israel didn't have books. Think about it. Go back and read the story of Pharaoh. They were slaving. Let me go through some of it. Let me just go through a couple of nips of it. Exodus. Let me go to Exodus chapter, I think it's 4. I got a pretty good memory. Okay, let's look at Exodus, excuse me. Let's look at Exodus chapter 5 and verses. Let's look at verses 8. And the tale of the bricks which they did make, therefore ye shall lay upon them, ye shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, let us go and do sacrifice to our God. Let there be more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain words. And the taskmasters of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, thus said Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go ye get you straw, when where ye can find it, yet not aught of your work shall be this diminished. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. And the taskmasters hasted them, saying, fulfill your works, your daily tasks, as when there was straw. And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and demanded, wherefore have ye not fulfilled your task in making brick both yesterday and today, as hitherfore? Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, wherefore dost thou thus with thy servant? There is no straw given upon thy servants. And they say to us, make brick, and behold, thy servants are beaten. The servants are beaten, but the flank is in thy own people. The fault is in thy own people. I said that wrong, my bad. But he said, ye are idle. Therefore, ye say, let us go and do sacrifice to the Lord. See, this is what the king was telling the people in Egypt. Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall ye deliver the tale of bricks. Okay. I'm gonna show y'all something. Let me start at verses. Exodus chapter 5, verse 1. Afterward, Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus said the Lord God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, who is the Lord that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? That I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Lord, neither will I let Israel go. This was slavery, man. See, this is the so-called white man over here. We is really we are in bondage over here. America represents in spiritual Egypt. Did y'all know this? America means Babylon. These people was in Babylon. But the only difference is we don't have no chains upon our neck. The Israelites was beaten. They did all of these things during slavery. They cut babies out of the Hebrew Israelite women's wombs. And they said, the God of the Hebrews had met with us. Let us go and we pray thee 3 days journey into the desert and sacrifice unto the Lord our God, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with sword. And the king of Egypt said unto them, wherefore do ye, Moses and Aaron, let the people from their work? Get you unto your burdens. Now see, the king had a problem. You see what I'm saying? Now let me keep reading because I want to make a point. And Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many. Ye make them rest from their burdens. Say you make them rest from their burdens. That was a Sabbath rest. See, sacrificing to the Lord their God representing getting in the word of God, studying the word of God, studying the word. But see, that's what the king kept the Israelites from. They couldn't read or write here. You notice they didn't have, all they was doing was working. Listen to this. Ye shall no more give them the people straw to make bread. And therefore, heretofore, let them go and gather straw for themselves, and the tail of the bricks which they did make. Heretofore, ye shall lay upon them. Ye shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to our God. Let there be, I'm sorry, let there more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor thereon, and let them not regard vain words. And the taskmasters of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, thus said the Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go get you straw. Here, go and get you straw. Where ye can find it, yet not of your work shall be diminished. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. Yeah. Hold on, people. Hold on a minute. Okay, updates Google. Hold on a minute, y'all. I'm gonna get back. Just hold your thoughts. Okay. Okay, I was just looking at something. All right, look, y'all, we got to take time and look at this stuff, man. Now, let me just go back to my original point. Notice Pharaoh beheld the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens. So let's look at Exodus chapter 20, verses 1. And I'm going to skip down to verse 8. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Egypt is another word for slavery, out of the house of bondage. You know what I'm saying? So bondage means, it's another word for slavery. That means when you're in bondage, it means you're in slavery. Thou shalt have, okay, now let me go down to verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor the cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all in them is, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and holiday. He said he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the seventh day, the Sabbath day and holiday. So we know that the seventh day is the Sabbath day is the seventh day of the week. You see what I'm saying? So he said, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that in them it is, and rested the seventh day. See that? Now look right here. And Exodus chapter 5, verses 5. And Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their labors. The word rest in the Hebrew is another word for rest. It means rest. It's another word for you look at it further in the Hebrew, it means resting or resting on the Sabbath day or whatever. The word Sabbath means rest. That's what the word Sabbath means. So notice that just like we couldn't rest from our labors, our ancestors couldn't rest from their labor, from doing the work that they was doing. You don't see nothing where they had the Bible or none of that. They couldn't, during that time, they didn't have it. Because when you in chain, they was literally in physical chain. They were shackled from head to toe. They had yokes of iron and all that stuff up on their neck. Why you think the Bible always used the ox and all that stuff? Let's see if we can find an example of this in Exodus chapter 23, or 20, somewhere. Let's look at Exodus chapter 21, verse 28. If an ox gore, if an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall be surely stoned. His flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be quiet. But if the ox were want to push with his horn in time past, and had been testified to his owner, he had not kept him in, but that he had killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned. His owner also shall be put to death. Okay, I got to look deep more into this part here, but a lot of this stuff did happen during Bible days and stuff like that. The owner and his animal had to be put to death or whatever. There was some kind of repercussion for something that they was doing. The laws regarding other offerings. All of this here was dealing with laws that was given to Israel that they had to keep. You see what I'm saying? Some of these laws is not accurate today. You know what I mean? But they are an example. See, the point I'm making is though, the ox is a cow. You see what I'm saying? They would use the cows and stuff as to plow the fields and all that kind of stuff. So back then, this is what they was doing, our ancestors was doing in the field. They had corn, green beans, sugar cane, all that kind of stuff. You know, when you think of stuff like that, when you think of things like red beans and stuff like that, that's why a lot of our older generation, our grandmothers and things like that, our great grandmothers and things of that nature, they cooked a lot of this stuff. That's why you see a lot of the older people, they eat greens and stuff like that. And stuff that, which is the older food. We was all raised up off of that. Our kids was raised up off of that. You see what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like you had your eggs, your milk, like they had all that type of stuff on farms, like doing slavery. They had all that stuff. That's how our ancestors, that's how we as a people of color, knows how to cook. That's why we're so good at it, because our ancestors was good at all this stuff. They didn't have no musical instruments and organs and pianos and all that kind of stuff. Our ancestors had their natural voice. That's why we're so talented. That's why we are the product of our ancestors. We're so good. Why you think Michael Jackson was able to sing so good the way he did? The way his moves and stuff. All that singing, that voice he had, that came from our ancestors. We're good at anything that we put our hands to. We invented this world. Notice I told you that the children of Israel was one that was taking the straw and they was in the bricks and they was building doing slavery. That's what their hands of work, the works of their hands were doing. You see what I'm saying? That's what the work of their hands was doing. Look what the Bible says right here in Exodus, same chapter, Exodus chapter 21 and verse 1. And now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. These were the judgments. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. You see what I'm saying? So if that there is somewhere in I think it's in Deuteronomy chapter 15 where it says, if a Hebrew, if your brother or your sister served in the land of Egypt, don't let them serve as a bondman or bondwoman, but let them get, don't work them for nothing, but work them, but let them have a portion of something. You know what I mean? Now I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna read it. That's that's Deuteronomy chapter 15. I went over too far. Deuteronomy chapter 15. And I think it's 15. But thou shalt open, okay, wait a minute, let's go up. If there be among Hebrews chapter, no, I'm sorry, Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 7. It says, if there be amongst you a poor man or one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shed thy hand from thy poor brother. But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shall surely lend him sufficient for his need and that which he wanteth. Beware, verse 9 of Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 9. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the seventh year, the year of release is at hand, and thy eye be evil against thy brother, thy poor brother, and thou givest him naught, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be sin unto thee. Thou shalt surely give him, and thy heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thy hand unto. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor and to thy needy in thy land. If thy brother and Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, and in the seventh year thou shalt let him go free from thee. See that? He was dealing with the Hebrew. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Wherefore I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother. Who is he talking about? The Hebrew. Thy brother, to thy poor and to thy needy in the land. And if thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, thee in the seventh year, then in the seventh year thou shalt let him go free from thee. So the moral of this whole thing is, he's only dealing with the Hebrew men and women. You see what I'm saying? And he's telling us how to treat our Hebrew brother, not no Hamite. He's not talking about the other nations. He's only dealing with Israel. That's the only nation he's dealing with. Yeah, all of this, he's dealing with Israel. You read all the way up to verse Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, 11 and 12. He's talking about Israel. This whole thing is speaking about Israel. Let's look at verse 15. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee. Redeem means is to pay a price. Deliver you. It means to deliver. When thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee. Therefore I will command this thing today. So if you read the rest of that, y'all will see what he's talking about. This the whole book, the whole Bible is talking about Israel. From Genesis all the way to Deuteronomy is dealing strictly with Israel. It's not dealing with the other nation. Y'all see right here in Deuteronomy chapter 15, it's only talking about how he gonna bless his people. But you got a lot of people not gonna do their research on this. But I'm telling you, do your research. So the video is entitled, "Why do people choose to believe a lie?" Why do people simply usually they choose to believe a lie? No matter what you tell them, they want to just believe in a lie. But if you tell them, "I met a prophet of God," they ain't gonna argue with you at all. They're not gonna say nothing. They're gonna take every word you say and they're gonna suck it up. They're gonna suck it up. They're gonna suck that up. They ain't gonna have no problem with that. But they have a problem with you telling them, if you say God hates the so-called white man, "Oh, I don't believe that." But you can believe a man who you've never seen telling you that he can tell you something. You're gonna get a check within 30-some days. They'll believe that crap though. They'll believe that mess in a minute. Don't do their background check or none of that. Don't do no kind of research. But they'll believe that though. "Oh, he telling me I'm gonna get some money. Oh, he's telling me I'm gonna do this here." But you can't do your own research. When I tell you to do your own research, you give me the side eye. Stupid. But if I tell you I met a prophet, "Oh, it's all great and good." Get out of here with that, man. Peace and love to my people of color. Do y'all research, man. Why do people choose to rather believe a lie? That's the title of the video.